Yeah, I'm looking at it
I
now.
would tell you with almost 99% certainty we had a tornado touchdown in this area, because this was the roof of their building ripped off. He's sending me other pictures where, Chris, you know this very well, tops of trees kind of sheared off.
Yep.
It looks like tornado damage. And then a lot of sheet metal wrapped around fences and a big pallet stack blown over. So in this general area, which lines up exactly with where we were tracking, Chris, where that couplet is, and we just got word that the Weather Service has seen enough of this now that they're going to send a crew up to Charlotte to do a damage survey. But I will tell you, just based on the damage in the Atando area that I just got from JJ, that I would say that's EF0-ish, maybe EF, we'll see, but I'd say EF0 tornado damage, maybe slightly EF1. Not sure about this structure building, because that's how tornadoes are rated, by the way. It's the damage they cause, and you got to know a little bit of engineering is involved in this. So depending on the structure and how this roof was built, that would help determine the wind speed. But when you have a roof ripped off, even a building like this with sheet metal coming off, you probably had high-end EF0 or low-end EF1 damage. And looking at the tree damage in particular, I could tell that a tornado clipped that area. And Chris, it is really interesting. I think we'll probably get more reports, because at the time this was occurring, as we mentioned on air and online, you couldn't see this because it was wrapped in rain. So probably what happened is people went out after the rain moved out and go, oh, look at this damage that we're seeing. They probably never saw the tornado. It just looked like a wall of water coming through that area.
Yeah, and I'm visibly seeing the pictures that you're put in. And here, if we can go over the weather too, I want to bring up something. So Brad brought up the degree of damage. So this is what the National Weather Service can go through. And the one that I could quickly grab was transmission lines, because we had some power outages as well. So first off, the base of an EF scale, so here it is. You know that we're here to raise your weather IQ, right? 65 to 85 miles per hour is an EF0. 86 to 110 is an EF1. By the way, it's technically EF2 that you mainly see cars lifted. At midpoint, right around 100 miles per hour, I've seen cars physically lifted from their parking spot and moved a space over. So that's still a possibility whenever you have something of that magnitude. But the clues that the National Weather Service is going to look at is likely the tree damage, this roof damage, but when there's some visible damage to power lines, oftentimes it's low end about 70 miles per hour, high end 98. So that puts us right smack dab into that EF scale. Also, if you look a little bit deeper, some of the metal sheeting is usually around the similar range. So it might be an upper end EF0, and you might say, I was like, oh, okay, that's no big deal. Well, if we're talking about the sustained winds at 70 to 85 miles per hour, you'd be like, oh man, that's drastic. Just because it was so isolated doesn't really diminish it, because we also had those gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour that were widespread across that. We didn't get to the point that there was broken wood cross or anything like that, which has an upper bound heading into EF2 categories, but that's kind of just kind of the hints that we're looking at. Meanwhile, kind of just like a little proof of concept, this morning I kind of had our tornado window. At one point I had to open it up a little bit early. I was like, oh man, things are happening. But the Charlotte area was about 9 to noon. I said, oh, temper could be a little bit earlier. This exceeded my expectations. For one, it was just constant updates that we had to do. And we do something called grid adjust, trying to adjust where the precipitation eventually is going to be. And we had to keep on changing it because of how fast this storm system went. All right, now what's happening right now as we're gathering more data in general, as we're finding more of the clues. The good news is we're not all clear, but the worst of it, I think, is clear. But the rain is going to be really consistent. So many times you can have a system like this that races through, and then you have some rain behind it, and then you're good. Sunshine always follows rain. My grandma said that was one of my favorite sayings. But this time, you have a really thick band of what's called stratiform precipitation. And Majestic was talking about this earlier. What we're really kind of worried about is the second redevelopment of the cold front. So you're physically just seeing the trough that pushes through. The worst of the weather is now pushing off towards the east. We have no active severe thunderstorm warnings for our area, mainly just to see some gentle rain. So boy, did we really dodge a bullet down to the southeast. What kind of happened here, most of the energy was to the north. Sometimes you can almost strip energy away from the southern cells, and then the rain took over and it kind of ate up a lot of that instability. Not complaining about it. However, it's this leading edge that's approaching around Bennettsville. Shout out to Lisa Washington, that's where she's from. That's where I think you see some redevelopments getting a little bit closer to Fayetteville, who have actually seen a solid lull. Some sunshine has been happening there. And down towards the south and west, we actually are seeing a little bit of clearing. So I don't think you're going to see round 2 tornado chances. I think that has sailed. I think if you have anything, it could be potentially some damaging straight line winds, but the backside of this, the fact that we're talking about snow is absolutely crazy. You have snow that's widespread around just east of Nashville. We've had active snow reports that are happening in Alabama, and I saw a lot of the snow reports for Alabama that was like, oh, maybe a chance for a flurry. Well, I'm just letting you know, more than flurries that are coming from this system right now. And as for our North Carolina mountains, we're not trying to disband what exactly we're going to see there. It's just that this is such a big focal point. But this is just a testament about how strong and how drastic of a change this is. We are expecting that snow to accumulate. I really think it's more of a dusting to a coating below 3,000 feet. Closer to Boone, I think you might have up to an inch, but it's really the 1 to 3 mark that's above 3,500 feet. The further you go up the mountains, they're just trying to hold on to any sort of ski season. So just letting you know, the backside of this thing, still going to have some gusty winds, I think, overall. We're tracking that, and also continue to keep us updated. Keep Brad updated, Majestic, myself, any sort of damage that you have, because that can really piece together the clues that we potentially are seeing. Where Brad has been, while I've been talking, trying to find all the different pictures that really key the potential tornado that we had here around Atando.
Yeah, I got these in. I started adding more in. So this is all from the general location. JJ, thank you so much. You see the roof ripped off the building. Looks like part of the roof got put on his truck there. It looks like a manufacturing. There's some other damaged areas there. The trees, Chris, this I mentioned about. So this came through and ripped the tops of these trees off. You can see that's what they look like. This one had the top completely shredded off. So this all looks like tornado damage to me, and the Weather Service is going to send somebody out this way. So we're also getting reports around the Sedgefield area, Freedom Park. I mean, everything, as Chris mentioned too, this lines up. There's like a damaged path, and it lines up exactly with that couplet that we saw earlier. So I'm not going to be shocked if we end up with the EF0, maybe borderline EF1. Again, the damage survey is all about looking at this damage and the type of structures these are. But clearly this warehouse has got water in there now, and so this is significant damage for this company over there in Atando. So if you do have damage reports, please pass them along to us. We'll give them to the Weather Service so they know where to go to check this out, because they're probably going to be up here. I don't know if they're coming up today or tomorrow. I didn't even look. Doesn't say when they're going to be up here, but they're probably going to be up this way either later tonight or probably first thing tomorrow morning at some point. So the more information that we can give them to tell them where to go and look, and Charlotte Mecklenburg Emergency Management will give them some great tools as well. Also, if you do see damage, please stay away from down power lines. Assume they're all active and live. Call Duke Power immediately. Do not try to go near there, and please be safe around this debris. There's usually broken glass, nails, things that can cut you and cause injury as well. We don't want to see injuries after the fact because it was bad enough when the storm moved through, and sometimes we do see injuries afterwards because the debris and the cleanup and things could be falling and stuff like that. So we'll keep an eye on the threat. The worst of it is over for now, but we could see that secondary line. We'll talk more about that coming up at 11:30 and when Majestic joins you for